The forest was already dark when we realized we were lost. It was the kind of dark that seeps between the trees and presses against your eyes until every shadow feels alive. Our phones had no more signal, and the path we'd followed earlier had vanished, swallowed by woods and the fallen leaves as if it had never existed. The air smelled damp and odd, like something that had been rotting for centuries. Every sound was magnified: the crunch of twigs under our boots, the uneasy rhythm of our own breathing, the distant hoot of an owl that sounded more like a warning than a call. We decided to keep walking, convinced that standing still would only make things worse. The trees grew closer to gaze at as we went deeper, the branches twisting overhead like clawed fingers locking us in. That was when we heard it, a soft whisper, barely louder than the wind, calling a name. None of us admitted it at first, but we all knew the same terrifying truth: the voice wasn't calling the same name to each of us. It was personal, intimate, spoken in the exact tone of someone we trusted. I turned around, heart pounding, certain he would see someone standing right behind me. There was nothing, only endless rows of trees and the darkness stretching but the way we came. When he faced forward again, one of us was missing. No more sound of footsteps running away. No more cry for help. One moment he was there, the next he was gone, as if the forest had simply inhaled him. We shouted his name until our throats burned, but the forest answered only with silence. Panic settled in like a sickness. We moved faster now, stumbling through roots and the brush, driven by the feeling that something was following us just out of sight. The whispers returned, closer this time, overlapping and crawling into our ears. I felt fingers brushed above my neck and spun around screaming, but again, there was nothing. The trees, however, seemed different. The trunks bore deep scratches, long and jagged, far too high off the ground to be made by any animal we knew. Eventually, we came upon a clearing, and in its center stood a small, crooked cabin. The wood was blackened with age, and the door hung open, swaying gently even though there was no more wind. We should have turned back, but fear makes you cling to bad ideas when they feel like the only option. Inside, the air was thick and cold. The walls were covered in symbols carved so deeply they looked like wounds. In the corner lay a pile of old bones, yellowed and broken, some unmistakably human. That was when the door slammed shut behind us. The whispers exploded into laughter, echoing from the walls, from the floor, from inside our own heads. The lantern flickered, and in its unsteady light, the shadows began to move independently of us. They stretched and twisted, peeling themselves away from our bodies and taking shape on the walls. One by one, the shadows turned to face us, their mouths opening impossibly wide. Another scream tore through the cabin as one of my friends was dragged backward, her feet scraping helplessly against the floor. Her shadow wrapped around her throat like a noose, pulling her into the darkness behind the wall as if it were liquid. The rest of us ran, slamming against the door until it burst open, spilling us back into the forest. We ran without direction, branches tearing at our skin, lungs burning, until he tripped and he fell hard against the ground. When he looked up, he was alone. The forest was silent again, but not empty. He could feel it watching me, patient, amused. The whispers returned, no more longer pretending to be kind. They told me the forest was hungry, that it always took what wandered too far inside. You don't know how long he wandered before he saw the edge of the trees and he collapsed onto the road beyond. They found me at dawn, shaking and bloodied, unable to explain what had happened. They searched the forest for days but found no more sign of my friends, no more cabin, no more bones, only deep scratches on the trees and the footprints that led in but never came back out. Even now, when the wind rustles through the trees at night, I hear my name whispered from the darkness, and I know the forest is still waiting for me to return. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more.